Seb, we're in your hotel, and tomorrow night you're gonna join us in Oldham.
In Oldham, Manchester, yeah.
For your second fight.
My second professional bout.
And your second fight in Manchester as well.
Yeah.
I think you must like this place.
It's a lovely city. I love Manchester.
But it's just over a year since you did make your debut on your brother's undercard against George Groves.
Yeah.
So why the gap between?
Just making the right time of things. You know, everything has its time and place, and even though I made my pro debut, it was a little bit hasty, just due to the fact that Groves and Eubanks was a main card, you know, a big bill that people wanted to see. I've been ready to fight pro for many years. It's just my side businesses. I don't even like calling them side businesses. Like my main passions, which is the nutrition, kind of took precedence, and I had to put boxing on the back burner just to make sure that things were going. Well,
you've opened that over in Dubai. So what is it that you actually do over there? Fitness and nutrition. But
yeah, well,
what does that entail?
You can call it life coaching.
Right.
You know, so I show people how to be healthy, be well, heal themselves, cure themselves of diseases. So that's something that I know is more of my calling. Although boxing is obviously something that is in my blood, it's in my nature, it's in my name. But ultimately, that's boxing is a means to push further what I want to do in the healing business.
And well, obviously, what you do goes hand in hand. I mean, we've just been to a vegetarian cafe there, haven't we?
Yeah. Yes.
So you actually you live the way you preach.
Of course.
Well, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, a lot of people. Well, can't speculate, but yeah, I know. Yeah, for me, I mean, there's obviously a lot of people that saying that you need meat and you need this and you need that, you need your eggs and you need your milk for your calcium and all that, and this is all really being debunked now. Like a lot of people and a lot of scientists and organizations are kind of coming out and saying, actually guys, maybe you don't need this milk for your calcium. But yeah, this goes into a very long conversation.
I was going to say, well, listen, you've obviously been involved in a sport where that's a major player now. Have you been to university or to college to study this, or is this just something that you've picked up through your life travels?
I finished school at 15 years old, so I never done my GCSEs or finished school. So this is something that I kind of picked up through, you know, self-research. And you know, the sources are out there. Not saying that school doesn't provide the necessary you know, courses, but if you went to study nutrition in school, they would tell you that you would get your meat from your steaks and your chicken, blah blah blah. So I had an option to go the school way, but I realized that, you know, the
life way would be easier for you.
Yeah, life teaches you better, and experiencing it yourself. You know, everything that I researched, I, you know, test on myself first. I don't take anything as fact just from reading it, and everybody is different. So for some people, they might need meat in their diet. Hopefully they're sourcing the meat correctly. You know, I'm not an advocate of slaughterhouses, and if you are going to be eating meat, you should most likely.
Yeah, I think if we are seeing how it was prepared, perhaps someone won't eat it quite as much as we do.
Yeah. Definitely not as school kids. Maybe as a man, but you know, when you're a kid, if they told you at school on your first day at school at lunchtime, by the way, kids, this bolognese that you're eating, or this burger that you're eating, or these chicken nuggets that you're eating, came from this. If you show a kid the first time he sees that, he's not eating meat again. But they tricked us, and then they got us into it, and then as adults we're like, how can you go a day without meat? You know, I can't go, it has to be every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, meat. There's no break from it. So just to wrap it up, I am an advocate of balance. Yeah. I'm not saying that you should never eat meat. I'm just saying that you shouldn't eat meat every meal of every day.
Well, let's get back to the boxing.
Back to the boxing.
Amateur experience.
I had about 36 fights. I lost 8 of those. Well, I lost 4 and got robbed about 4 times.
Common occurrence in the amateurs.
Yeah, it happens. All part of the learning game.
Yeah.
I had in one season the most knockouts in one season. So I was switching boys off even in the amateurs. Even
So you're carrying power then?
carrying a little bit of power.
Which seems to be a trait. I was just saying before with the Eubanks name. Your chins never seem to be in question. And you all seem to punch a little bit.
Yeah, we can all have a dig. We can all have a swing.
Well, I was watching you. As I've just found out, I think the spar that I believe I was watching you wasn't you, but I did watch your debut fight last February, and you weren't what I expected. I expected to maybe see a bit more of a. You got to admit, your big brother. There's traits of your dad in him.
Yeah.
I think he has a few more gears than your dad.
Yeah.
Perhaps not quite the same power as him, but shows that fantastic chin that your dad had. But you were a bit slick. I was watching you switch that well that I only just about guessed that you are a natural southpaw.
Yeah.
But
I think that's probably why I am. You don't see the similarities with my style of fighting with my dad like you do with my brother, just because I am southpaw, and I do watch film on my dad, but I don't think I watched as much as my brother did. I think Chris watched a lot of my dad's tapes back in the day when he was growing up, because my brother started boxing at about 14, whereas I didn't start boxing till I was about 20 after my rugby career. So you'll definitely see little glimpses of my dad in my style, but I definitely have created my own style.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. Like I say, I think you do it really well, because you look very comfortable in either stance, mate. And I think in that fight you put the kid over, didn't you?
Yeah.
And well, I don't know what round it was, because it was
I
all.
think it was the second.
Yeah. Now the kid you've got, who you're fighting on our show, can't pronounce his name. I'll put it up underneath the screen
The
there.
Lithuanian.
Yeah.
Call him that.
Ridiculously hard man.
Yeah.
I think he's had 125 fights. I think in his 100 defeats he's only been stopped 4 times. But 2 of those guys could be future opponents of you, because he's been in with the likes of, I think, Derek Chisora, Sam Sexton, Dillian White. Never been stopped by him. Yet 2 light heavyweights in your division stopped him. One of them being a local boy in Lyndon Arthur, who's got a phenomenal record. I think he's 13 wins, no defeats. It says 10, but actually he's had 11 stoppages, because one of them was a disqualification because the kid kept spitting out his gum shield. So he's got ferocious power. I mean, he was on the I think the GB setup with Joshua Bayatsi, who you was hoping to fight until you got ripped off in your quarterfinals, was it?
Yeah, I was supposed to fight Boatsi back in the day in the ABAs. We were lined up pretty much to fight in the semis. It was looking like semis or the finals, and I got robbed horribly in the quarters, which stopped that, which was annoying. But
was that one of the factors that decided you to get to this point and turn pro?
This was before the Olympics, because I remember, I was doing that ABA run to try and get on the Olympic squad for Rio. So this is going back some years now.
So about 2015?
Yeah, 2015. It would have just been nice to have fought Boatsi in the amateurs and just had a little experience, just test him out. But it's gonna have to wait until we duke it out in the pros now.
Well,
look forward to.
This is, like we say, this is going to be your second pro outing. And you were talking before to me, and you were saying you want to move as quickly as you can, and by doing that you want to get as many fights in as you can, so at some point in 2020 perhaps you're ready for those meaningful fights. So how do you get out that many times? Because it's not easy getting on these shows. I mean, you've got to have good backing.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to want it, that's for sure. If you've got to get out on the road, you've got to get out on the road. I'm fortunate enough with my last name that a lot of people will probably say, come on our show and pay your opponent's fee and just get out. and that's what I'm looking to do now for next year. I'm just going to get on as many shows as I can, get my, you know, get back up to 100%, and yeah, just knock out these guys in electric fashion and let people know that in 2020 I'm coming for the belts.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's we was chatting before, and this light heavyweight division that you're entering, it's
a serious division.
It is, and I was just looking at the list of the top 20, and realistically, there's not one person's name in there that, with the right fights and the right timing, who couldn't perhaps be British champion. So that makes for a lot of.
It's going to be exciting, and what I've always said about the light heavyweight division is that we have got the perfect balance of that electric speed and that power. You know, we're in that perfect balance of it. So
well, that's what I said to you before when I was watching you. I was surprised how well you do move. You know, for a light heavyweight. You know, you're not a plodder, are you?
No, definitely not. But we punch like a plodder. Just a little bit faster, which creates the knockout.
And so when you're saying this is your second fight up here, everything goes as planned.
Yeah.
When do you be out? When do you hope to be out next, and where?
As soon as possible. I'm based out in Dubai, so right now, after this fight, I was supposed to just be coming back for the fight at the
You missed out on the De Gale show, didn't you?
So
against
I was supposed to be fighting on the Eubanks De Gale show in the O2. I came back from Dubai because that's where I'm based for that. I came back a month before the fight. On the night, I was afloat, didn't get a chance to fight, so my options was either I was supposed to be getting on a flight 2 days after back to Dubai. I didn't get on the flight. Got called up by Lawrence Okoli's management. They needed a slick southpaw. He's fighting in 2 weeks' time, so I thought, why not? I'll take that. Done a training camp out in Morocco with Okoli, which was nice. I just got back a few
How did you
days.
find that? Because he's a big beast, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big guy, and he's with a coach now that's going to make him a very dangerous fighter. So that was interesting. That was good.
Well, who coaches you over here then?
Scott Welch.
Alright, the former British heavyweight champion.
Yes. Yeah, he's my manager, my boxing manager, and my coach when I'm here in UK. So yeah, I came back from Morocco from the sparring camp, get a fight out, then I'm back to Dubai.
Yeah, because in Scott from around your area, isn't he a Brighton boy?
He was my amateur coach, which is why it fits so nicely. So he's been with me for the last 5-6 years. He knows me very well. I know him very well.
This is what we was talking about, because your brother's just took a coach on now, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah.
And we was talking before, and I said I was pleased that you said it's important to have a coach, because the onlooker sees most, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And so he can point out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong,
yeah.
and hopefully show you the way to go forward.
Yeah, as long as they know what they're talking about and know what they're looking at. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, obviously you wouldn't have been with him as long as you were if you didn't believe in him.
Oh no,
Scott obviously he believes in you.
Yeah, no, Scott knows his business. Very, very comfortable with him. We've got a good bond. You know, like we were saying earlier on, it's all about the bond, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm planning to be in this game to get to the top. So you know, you want to bring the people who you love with you.
Well, that's the thing, because I noticed when you were in the corner in your pro debut, Shawn was in the corner.
Yeah,
what was the connection with Shawn?
I've been training with Shawn for a couple of years now, but only when I'm up in Manchester.
Right.
Obviously, I'm a Brighton boy, so but I do come up to Manchester quite a lot. I've got some friends up here and mutual friends with Shawn. I've known Shawn for, like I said, like 3-4 years. Actually, from the nutrition game.
Right.
Shawn
Yeah.
is very onto his nutrition, so me and him kind of bonded from that, and I started training up at his fight factory a couple of times when I was up here.
Right.
And then obviously it happened that the Groves Eubank fight was in Manchester, so he was in my corner for it.
Well,
Yeah.
so I presume you've got safe havens all around the country then.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely do camps throughout all of UK and globally as well. You know, I lived in Vegas for 2 years, so I've got a camp out there. I've got a stable out there that I can go to. Being based in Dubai, boxing's not really big right now, but it's definitely getting there.
Well,
So,
who are your best friends in boxing then? Who are the ones you go to? Obviously, there's a Scott with your coach and everything, but
to be honest, I like taking from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Scott. I like working with Scott because Scott sees me as a forward knockout, fighter, but he also recognises that I'm a southpaw, and if I am wise enough to use that advantage, that I'm going to make my work a lot easier. So even though Scott knows really I just want to go forward and just get him out there, Scott's always telling me, listen.
When did you have to switch into your game then?
Was
that an amateur thing, or was that something that came later on?
That came slightly after, well, during the end of my amateur career. When I actually first moved out to Dubai, I had a shoulder injury, which stirred me into moving, because I was like, I can't box here in UK right now. I've got a shoulder injury. I want to get the nutrition business go up and running, and make some money for myself. So I moved out to Dubai. For about 1 year in Dubai, I was in the orthodox stance, just letting my right shoulder heal up properly. So I was orthodox for about a year straight, and then started learning how to switch and finding out which was comfortable, and how to move and alternate between the two. And so now I don't really even realise. I when I'm switching.
I watched you and I couldn't tell, but I assumed because you reverted back to the southpaw stance a little bit more than the orthodox, that you were southpaw, but I couldn't honestly swear that you were or you weren't, and so that's a good sign. In fact, if you can't tell, then obviously you're doing something right. Now we're going to be fortunate to see you tomorrow night. As I said, we know your opponent, we've mentioned him before, but what your intentions after this fight? Where are you going to go and when?
Like I said, I'm just trying to get as many out as I can right now, and if it's got to be a guy with 120 fights and a bunch of losses, he's the only one that's taking it, and that's the one I'm taking. As
I said though, with the
this boy's tough. He hasn't been stopped. But a lot of people are going to say, oh well, he's not there to win. But at the same time, when a guy's getting in the ring with you, you've got to fight on your hands.
It's like making your debut again, with it being such a long time since you did make your debut. So realistically, you need a guy who's going to come in, test you, give you some rounds, and hopefully bode well for going forward.
He looks like he can take. I've watched one of his fights against that Schofield. Schofield didn't really go on the attack, but he took good shots.
He's a nice boxer, Charlie, really nice boxer. I think he's 15 or 14-0 or something like that now. Not too many stoppages on his record, but he well outboxed the kid. I'll be intrigued to see what you do there. Like I say, this light heavyweight division is really exciting. We've got quite a few guys who are in that light heavyweight division, so eventually we might see you as an opponent to some of our guys, because we have Bob Adjusef, the former British and Commonwealth champion. He's one of the VIP boys. Charlie Schofield, who you mentioned before, and Lyndon Arthur, who's doing really well now. Like I said, I think he's 13-0, so these are all potential future opponents for yourself.
Yeah, the light heavyweight division's looking like in the next couple of years, I think that's going to be the one everyone's talking about.
Well, I think we could say that about almost every division, but it is a very exciting division, and like I say, the quality is phenomenal, and hopefully you're going to be a great new addition.
Thank you.
Seb, we'll leave it at that then, and I'll see you tomorrow night, mate.
Yeah, nice one, Lee.
Good luck for tomorrow night, mate. Hopefully 2-0.
2-0, that's the one.
Take care. Bye bye.